Ooh, look, I started at 3:18. That's really cool considering the things that I'll be talking about today. Let me make sure this is turned up all the way because, as usual, bing, it's been a minute, you guys. I had to shake off the nerves and I still will. So hang in there with me. I'm happy and excited and nervous to be back. I had a little toothache. It kept me away for a while, but I was working real hard during it and I was able to. Well, the creator showed me a bunch of new stuff. I'm going to jump right in. I understand people's attention spans are short. If you follow my Facebook page, you know that I put out a pretty long Google Doc yesterday about 1914, how it relates to the 33rd degree Masonry and lies that religion has infiltrated into our matrixy world and so forth. So what I'm going to be doing is explaining that. It'll be slightly difficult because I don't have it to show you as I speak, but I will be reading from it. And so if you haven't seen it, I would suggest you go to my page and print it out because it's pretty mind-boggling. But I'm going to move out of the way for a minute because I have to take this down because it might fall. In it, I explain the 314-413 pi equation that the world tries to explain is the circumference to life. So what you see is 314 equals 413 pi. Same thing. Now, what I'm going to explain to you is the esoteric knowledge that the Masons and Disney and the whole evil in the world, it's how they do their mirror writing, okay? So within the 314 pi, okay, you can see right away. Well, I've explained before if you watch my videos and you can't see the 6 because the light's on it. But the 4, the 6, and the 9, they all look the same when you're doing writing. So when you do the 314-413 equation, you can bring the 19 down, the 14, and it becomes a 19. And then you bring the 14 down in backwards mirror writing, it becomes 14. And that gives you 1914, which is, of course, when World War I started. Now, 9 times 4 is 36, which is written right there. But instead of using 1936, it's, of course, 1939, I believe, that World War II started. So you can take the 9 times 4, 36, that gives you World War II. Now, in Gematria and in the way the knowledge works, you can drop the ones, and then you have 9-4, which is the foundation for the Kingdom Hall's biblical principles, which is Genesis 9-4, and it has to do with the blood, always the blood. Now, not only does 9 times 4 equal 36, it equals 13 if you add it, obviously. But what you see also there is the 144, because in the Kingdom Hall, they believe that only the 144,000 will go to reign with, in their teachings, the Christ, or however it is that they teach, and only 144,000. So the 144 comes from the middle there, 144,000, and then it carries down. Now, 144,000, when viewed in Gematria, these 4s, they can also look like upside down and backwards A's, which then in the Hebrew become K's. So it's actually KKK, as well as MK Ultra. You guys may not be able to see it readily, but it is. You'll have to trust me. Now over here, even though you can't see it that well, because I'm trying to explain to you that in Gematria, the 4, the 6, and the 9 are all interchangeable. So the 314 can read as pi, which you can see, read it backwards, PIE. It actually says 314, but PIE. Or it can be 319, which is the song 319. And by the way, 3 times 19 equals 57, which is how old Prince was when he died, reportedly. Now, the song, I said 319. And then also what they did with the 319, as well as the pi, is turn it upside down backwards and make it John 3:16. That's what we're getting to, because that is then the lie, the lie in, alien, elite, alien lie. It's a biblical lie that they've instilled in our world. And, when the creator showed me this over the last couple of days, my mind was blown. And when I sit down and I start typing all these things and they come into my mind, it's pretty mind-blowing. I can't imagine anybody seeing this and not being like having their mind blown, because what I'm trying to tell you guys is that this is all a plan. Also, I want to show you something. If you haven't seen it yet, you know my name is Elizabeth Pride. Now, my initials ELP, Elizabeth Pride, or the Ride, as in the song The Ride. My birthday, 12/19. My son will be 19 this year. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with this that I'm not going to touch on right now because I want to read the paper. It's very, very important that you guys understand that this isn't just about, the PI investigation. Okay. Well, pi, see, pi, ID, pi. Now, hold on. Let me open up this little window. You guys know I'm not very good at it. Okay. So this is what I wrote last night, and I'm going to attempt to read it to you guys. Let me get positioned because it's very, very important. And if you don't have a paper and pen, you should probably grab one. Or like I said, just go print the paper that I wrote. It takes me just a second. I'm so sorry. As techie as my son is, he didn't share it with me. Okay. So I'm kind of going to read it as it is and try to maintain the eye contact with you guys. But as the world knows, the value of pi, it's written that it's the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter, approximately 3.1459. I said, what in the H is that supposed to mean, and why is it the mathematical equation to life? When it comes down to 314, I need to share some math with you. Please hang in there. The final explanation will be worth the wait. Now, if you take the 3.1459 and you do the mathematics to it, as I do on my paper, it breaks down to 3669, which when you look at your numbers as letters, 3669 or 369 is egg. The egg, because they all spin. That's electric word life. They all spin around and do their thing. Now, that's how the egg was sold at Paisley Park, except for it's a big secret. It's part of the esoteric knowledge. It's hard to read what I wrote, but I'm going to do my best. You guys hang in there. Egg, the word egg, as well as the name Bob George. The name George, I've explained it before, is G-E or George. Okay. So when you look at the G's and the E's, it's basically egg or Bob George, or, I mean, that's why he gave us the warning, Bob George and Love Sexy. And what I wrote was, for those unfamiliar, Bob George is the bad guy in the Love Sexy era of Prince Rogers Nelson. Revelation 13:18 in Christianity and Kingdom Hall teachings, which is basically the world's teaching outside of Judaism because they don't read these books. But Revelation 13:18, it speaks of the wisdom of the 666. This is where you're going to find it because the Creator gave it to me. So now listen, when you take 666, there's 3 sixes. That equals 18. Okay. Now 3 plus 18 is 21. Now 18 is life, 3 plus 18, and then you take the Revelation 13:18, and you got to remember that the ones don't matter in Gematria. So what they're pointing us towards is the egg, the 666. It's the reason for 1999, love to the nines, all that. Now listen, also Genesis 8:13 tells us of the ark, which is card backwards, that came to rest on the 601st day, first month, first of the month. So what does that give you? 611. But if you turn those upside down, it's 911 in MirrorWriting, which, by the way, is MW or MM, Mickey Mouse Games. Okay, Mark Matz, M&M Killers playing Mickey Mouse games. So MirrorWriting, this is what I'm talking about. So when you guys start to say, oh, look at that conspiracist. No, she's not. It's amazing. You guys got to listen up and grab a pen. So 813 tells us of that, the 601st day, first of the month, first of the month, and that's 911 or 116 backwards. Now, I got to go back to pi for a second. When you look at the word pi, okay, it's P-I. Okay. Now, let me show you guys something. I got to open my window again. Sorry. Pi, P-I. Okay, now they carry it down, it becomes a 19. But what do we find ourselves in now is currently the, the COVID-19 that we're in. So 19, I'm going to go back to what I wrote. So because the pi is 19 in reverse or 16, you guys have to understand that's where they get the name opioid. And again, I write this on my paper because if you take the word opioid and you look at it in numbers instead of letters, it's 061019. Okay, so within that you have 61 and 19, and the whole opioid crisis, the whole plan, it's all a plan. I'm not this is so hard to read my paper, you guys. I don't think it's going to work out this way, but I'm going to keep trying. Now, within the pie, you guys think about it. Prince investigation, pie, the song Truth. It ain't no piece of cake. It ain't no blankety blank piece of pie. He tried to tell us in a lot of different ways, and this paper I wrote is pretty spectacular. So go to my Facebook, check it out, and print it, or send me your email, and I'll send it to you. They carry through the 318, through the Genesis and through the Revelation, because 18 is 666 and 18 plus 3 is 21. Now, 21 is actually the pi symbol itself if you do it upside down. It's like, with the Freemasonry, it's why they call it Freemasonry. It's like this free-flowing Babylonian math that, can just be built upon, because as when I was in my life after life situation, the Creator showed me all these things. The words don't stay still. They move, because there's like creation beyond creation that we here are accustomed to. So within that, you guys, this is basically what I'm getting at. Because of the 601st day, the first of the month and the first of the month, it's 911. Okay. But when you have the ones and they duplicate, they cut them out. So let's say 16 or 19, or ID as in the pi, or PI. They all duplicate each other. Okay. So within the biblical aspect, you have the 6 days of creation, 1 day of rest. Every single ICR number in the Prince investigation, it begins with a 16, which is PI or IP or whatever. Now, when they give us the Moline story, it said that he was discharged from the hospital at 9:34. That too equals 16. 9 plus 7 is 16. The famous 911 call came in at 9:43. That too equals 16, or 9-1 in reverse and upside down mirror writing. Now, using those same numerals, 1/6, okay, you can take 1 plus 6 and that equals 7. Write it out. 1 plus 6 equals 7. That gives us 1776, our Declaration of Independence, okay? Because when you tally up 1776, it equals 21, which goes back to pi, okay? Therefore, for you algebra lovers, pi equals 777. It just does. It's 21, 3 times 7, pi. It just is, okay? Now, this is truly important. I've explained it before. The name David, as in King David, when you're looking at it in Hebrew, it's Dalet, Vav, Dalet, okay? Now, each of the Hebrew letters, they have an equivalent shape, okay? Pardon me 1 second. I don't have my little list right there. My bad. So each of those Hebrew letters, they have a shape, and the Dalet, Vav, Dalet, because it's actually Dalet, Vav, it's only 2 letters, but in the Hebrew, those letters are shaped like 7s, okay? So instead of using the name David, the letters, they're replaced with the Hebrew shape or symbol of 7, and that gives the name, it looks like 777. Which is also equal to 21, or pi, giving us the song All 7 and We'll Watch Them Fall. Okay, now, I know this sounds like a lot of math, but you guys, I'm going to keep encouraging you to print off what I wrote. Also, if you take 36 minus 14, you guys, that equals 22. Now, when you're looking at your letters upside down in mirror writing, a 2 and a 7 can look the same, okay? And because the Vav is the sixth letter and that has a shape, the 6 and the 7 become interchangeable also when you're doing the 1776 versus 1777. You Sorry, I wrote a little bit faster than they did in 66, a little bit faster than they did in 67. Twist, little sister, and go to heaven, because that's why the lyrics were written into the songs. So that's also why he wrote One More Card, and it's 22, because again, when you look at them upside down, 22. So I've explained to you guys already how the 1914, it became written into the Declaration of Independence because it's all a breakdown. And you may not understand fully how the 4 and the 6 and the 9 can all look the same, but they truly do when you're doing the Gematria, because you're talking about an old school, see the 4, the kind that's closed off, and then the 9 and the 6. When they're moving, they all look the same. And it actually kind of spells out my last name, Pride, Pride, because again, that's what this whole thing goes back to. And that's why I can hear from the Creator, is because I am Elizabeth Pride. When I was in my life after life, and the Creator told me that this is who I was and that this is what I was going to be doing, it's a lot to take. It's a lot to admit. But it is what it is, you guys. And it's super cool because it lets me know that my whole life has purpose. And that purpose is to come and share with you guys what he told me. And these things are huge. That the religions, you guys, that are built in to our world, they're all meant to lead us away from the Creator. And by me passing in 2010 and meeting him and him telling me these things ahead of time and then me remembering them in 2020, it was so I could come and tell you them, because it's deep, you guys. It's going to change our world. So please try to follow along. I do my best to explain it. It's really deep and it's never been told before. So it's how the real legions, that I call them, I can't say for sure if they set out with a foul intent to trick all people, but selling the Creator, it's like putting the Creator in a bottle and selling them and saying, here, come over here and talk to me in this little booth while I wear a collar, or go read your Bible for 6 hours and then you can be worthy to come meet me. These teachings that the world set out, they're all false and they're all wrong. I know they are, because I found my way to the Creator. And I didn't do any of those things. And he told me that I found my way there with his guidance by myself. And I was going to come here to teach the world these things. And like I said, it sounds like a big deal. And some people think it sounds arrogant. But the thing that I said to him was, please don't let me become arrogant, because this is a huge, huge responsibility. And you guys need to take it pretty seriously, because it's going to affect you. And until people start to believe that the way that the Creator has been sold to the world, like I always say, is some big white dude floating in the sky, you need to read up on your Anunnaki. You need to ring up on your King's list. You need to read up on DNA experiments. And, if that's your thing, or you can just listen to me. I don't care. You guys, were looking at heading into a dark time, but through that dark time, the Creator is going to show himself. And that's what I keep trying to get at. Until people can start to grasp and see the depth and the truth in the words that I'm showing and the proof that I show, that it's not conspiracy, that it's not something I researched and looked up in a book. It's something the Creator, Hashem, gave me. And I'm sharing with the world until the world starts to respect that and actually gets on the boat. I mean, I'm the precursor. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to introduce him because it is a lot to grasp. But the more people that can grasp it, the more real it can become, because what's in the world right now is truly as dark and false as it can be. So what I'm bringing is light and joy and truth, and I'm proving it to you by way of the word of the creator and someone who had a life afterlife experience. And you guys, nobody else can do this. Nobody else is going to do this for you. And like I said, this whole scenario involves who I am and who you are deep in your soul. So I'm going to read a little bit more of what I have written. Sorry. It's important that people know that I respect that it's a lot to grasp, and that for me to sit here and say, hey, John 3:16 is about as false as it gets when the whole world believes that that's what's real, is a big deal. And again, let me say this. I've been seeking the creator and on my journey since 1993, and you couldn't pay me any amount of money to turn my back or to be false or to commit blasphemy or heresy or any of those things that you want to say. It is what he told me and what I'm telling you to the best of my ability. So why would the world trick us with that? Well, from the way I remember it and the way I understand it, it's so when you, well, let me say this. When I passed, and I don't remember how exactly everything happened, but he said, what's your name? And I got to talk to him and know him. Most people, I guess, when they get there and they die, they lie. They try to lie about who they are, what they've done, why they haven't prayed, what their intentions were, what their decisions were. And then, so these angels or spirits or whatever they were tried to tell me that I couldn't talk to God. And I said, oh, yes, I can, because I'm not a liar. And so I just want you guys to know that, like I said, there's nothing more important in the world to me than truth. It's what I said when I passed and what I'm saying now. And I'm willing to give my all to spread it to the world, because it's the biggest lie that's on the world. Because by claiming the words of John, let me say this. Look at the world we live in. It's trash. It's run by politics. A lot of negative things that I don't want to mention. And then they put blank 316 on the back of trash trucks and Chick-fil-A and this and that and that. But do you guys, and this is what I said when I was there, I was like, but we don't live in a world where there's that kind of love is shown. It's not. People say they do, but they don't. So why would you look around at the disgusting world of politics and sex trafficking and all the horrible pedophilia in Hollywood and Disney Matrix, and then believe that we live in a world where they're going to let us know our true God? Like, seriously? No. So the lie was that you get these people to claim on these backwards mirror writing words, Mickey Mouse killers playing Mickey Mouse, M&M killers, that is, playing Mickey Mouse games. They want you to say words on a false idol, because it kind of traps you. Like a lot of people that I've known, a lot of Christians that I've met, they don't act very Christian-y. They say, oh, I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. That's your imagination working real hard. And I mean no offense, but that's not how it works. Your imagination does work. He hasn't shown himself in that way. He wants to show himself as the creator, the one and only creator, not the son of. And none of us are made, like, we're all made from this holy DNA, you guys. The creator made us, and yet the world teaches that we need somebody, a mediator, a go-between, to get to know him. I don't get why the world is willing to believe that. I don't. Even before I had this all happen, it never made sense to me that God would create such a beautiful world and then say, hey, I'm just going to put this one dude here, and you got to go here, and you got to go to this guy with the collar and this rabbi over here. No, you guys have to do it yourselves. And why would he talk to a little old girl like me, you guys? All of us have a purpose. We're a soul trapped in this body. This flesh is a prison, you guys. The moment you're born and you take a breath, you're born into this prison. The place after here, where I was, that's the free place. That's why he sang the song Free. That's why he said some people want to die so they can be free. And I don't know. It's huge, you guys. It's hard to talk about, and that's why I ramble. Let me go back to my paper. Now, you guys, the Kingdom Hall. I've explained this before, but I'm going to say it again. Look at it like this: Kingdom, Witness, KW, MK Ultra, or Mickey Mouse. Or if you turn the M on its side, it's 3K. 3 kings, 3 Ks, white supremacy. See, I showed this before. These are crudely written aleph in the Hebrew alphabet, and then they turn them into KKKs. It all goes back to here, and then AI knowledge. I just wanted to show you how that works. Also, with the name David, spelling with the 777, you can also see DD. Now, in the middle of David, you have AVI. What do you get if you turn that upside down? VAT, Vatican, Silicon, Vatican, or Vatican for Genesis 4:24. It depends on the way you're looking at it. 7 times 77. So anyway, with the MK Ultra programming, you guys, I mention that all the time, but a lot of people don't know what it is. I don't think. If you go to the Wikipedia and you look it up, it's gonna say that the government did some drug testing with the Nazis and blah blah blah, and then just blah, blah, blah. It's all lies. But what it is actually is it goes back to I believe it's D1X. I explained it in the couple of videos about vampires and the jacked up paranormal situation, but I think it's the D1X for human endurance. Thebane, mixtures of drugs that are introduced in a way of vapors, which is why Dr. Schulenberg had the vapor thing, the thing that you go and wear when you clean up drug scenes, respirator. Yeah. So this thing goes really deep, you guys. Now, the thing that you need to understand is the creator knew what these people were going to do. He explained it to me when I was there, and it was all very, very difficult. And so I know it's strange that I sit here and say some documentation that he self-administered the fentanyl. Some people want to die so they can be free. But when you're the creator, you're ever creating. And as he said, it ain't over. So I'll just leave that there. Because I know even for myself to comprehend, even though he showed me himself as all things, like literally when I died, you guys, I was like up in, it was like space more than heaven. It wasn't some pearly gate looking thing that you see cartoons and stuff drawn on. It was like more space. I made my TikTok thing today about space. That's funny. It was space, and we looked down on all the planets and how he was like the essence of everything in the Milky Way, MW, Milky Way. Yeah. And how he could be everywhere at once, and how he controlled everything, and how human beings were so simple that we really think that this reality that we live in is like really something, but it's really not. It's just not. It's so small. You need to start thinking of yourself like an ant in Hashem's world, because the faith that I have, the reason I'm able to come here and giggle and talk these things about 1914 and World War I, and is because I know the end, and the end is redemption. The end is a very, very cool and happy place where everybody gets to be the best that they can be, those deserving anyway. So no matter how bad I have to stumble my way through it, I'm going to. Now, with the 316314 pi, you guys, with the John, 316 that I was talking about, it's to get the world to profess on a, like an idol, and then sit around kind of just twiddling their thumbs. Now, in Christianity, of course, we're all taught that Jesus would be this Messiah and he will come again after. In Judaism, it's not taught that way. Now, my idea was always that if in Hebrew and the Judaism was first, and the Hebrew and the letters and all the stuff that was explained to me when I died, you got to go back to the source, not the people that took the source and burned it and ripped it and took books out and threw people off cliffs and changed the whole structure of religion so that they could make men worship them for power and money and 10% of everything, and so that they could drive, I don't know, 17, 30 cars and wear really sweet suits and be called Joel Osteen and TD Jakes and Pope Francis. I don't know, you guys. If you can't see through the facade, you really only have yourself to blame. I'm not trying to be so hardcore that to make you mad, but like, it is really that obvious. And when the creator showed me this stuff in heaven, I was like, man, it's a blow to the ego. But if the creator didn't allow tricks, if you will, to be shown or played out, then how would any of us ever know the truth? Because none of us are worthy to just come into the world having everything given to us. You have to earn your way. And a lot of people that call themselves Christians and saved on this name, seriously though, think about it for a minute. I'm not trying to take anything away from your experience or your feelings or your Bible reading or anything, but you are not going to earn anything just by saying some false words. The creator is going to ask you who, what, why, when, where, what was your intention? What did you mean to do when you did this and that? And you have to remember, this is beyond time. So the more honest you can be now in searching and praying and talking, the better off you're going to be later on. Okay. That's all I'm trying to say, is that I don't know, you guys. Let me go back to what I was reading. The Kingdom Witness Hall, you guys, they not only do they use the scripture 9:4, they also use point to Revelation 3:1-4, which is again pi. And when you add 3 + 1 = 4, it's the whole thing. And that's why the Kingdom Hall has been hidden in the background. That's why Prince was made to say that he was a witness, because of the whole occult dark forces. The Kingdom Hall has been in hiding for all these years. They've been behind the scenes, the butt of everybody's jokes. Nobody really knows much about them. I've shared a lot of stuff with you guys, that they're an $80 million tax-free charity that runs out of Canada, that's where Renville, Wellington is from, that Moline Airport is a legal port of entry for the United States. And on the incident reports, of course, U.S. Customs is trying to get a hold of the contact for Paisley Park. So, the whole thing makes sense that way. As well, I want to touch on a couple things about Jehovah's Witnesses. And the reason we don't call them that is the name that I just said is illegal to say for now in the world. And so when they use that name, they know that they're doing wrong. Another thing is, you guys, the whole world, it's like, oh, Prince was a... Let me understand you something. They would never allow a divorced man for any other reason other than adultery. So who committed adultery, Maite or Prince, if in fact they existed, which I know that they didn't because it's all media hype. But anyway, Kingdom Hall, they only allow divorces on the grounds of adultery. And then even if you are divorced, you would never be allowed to go and join the hall and then go around going door to door and doing all that. They would shun you. They would make you sit in the back of the church. And then they got him being baptized in 2003 while he was married to Manuela or whatever in the media, and then getting divorced again, playing sexy music, acting in certain ways. The Kingdom Hall folk, they consider themselves a couple notches above everybody else. They would never allow those things. And that's a lot of things that people don't know. And they say, oh, we didn't give him any special treatment. He was just Brother Prince. Okay, liars. Okay, it didn't happen that way. And he was made to say these things because they thought, along with others, that they were going to have a certain power in the end of time that's near, that they're not going to have. And so that's why they've been so cocky and arrogant and white supremacist, hiding behind real legion. So couple things about that, you guys. They are the least transparent, the least forthright. Like I said, tax-free charity. Look at the red dress scandal. It's where they denied all this pedophiles in their church, along with the Pope and everybody else. Of course, we live in this world where you can just say 316 and bang, you're good. No, we don't. Anyway, you guys, with the 1914, back to that for a minute, in the PI investigation, Mark Matz, M&M, he announced that there would be no criminal charges on 4/19 of 18. So again, we have 4/19 and 18, which is 666. So we have World War I and 18 in the day that he announced there would be no criminal charges. Now, not only that, but all the charges were dismissed against Dr. Michael Schulenberg and Kornfeld on 11/14/19, which is 1914 again. Okay. Now, if you guys are so inclined, I put this also on my Facebook, to go and look at the on YouTube. I don't usually recommend others' channels, but on YouTube, there's a Kim Pratt investigation by the Justice League or whatever they are. And at 2 minutes, 48 seconds, she says clearly that Prince died on 4/19, Tuesday. So go check that out. It's written on my paper as well. And of course, whatever Prince we're talking about, because you guys know from watching that there is no identity at this point, because of all the discrepancies in the DEA paperwork. The hospital paperwork provides a date of 6/7/54. My hair. 6/7/54. This was in 2016. The Freedom of Information Act that I looked up gives a birth date for Prince, Prince Nelson. Actually, the name reads Nelson, Prinxe. And the date of birth reads 6/7/1954, making that person 61 years old in 2016. The other documentation is for 6/7/1959, making the patient 56 years old at the time, not 57. That would have been Kirk Johnson, because of the hospital paperwork that says prescriptions, RX history, and they put the prescription for Percocet right there on the RX history, which we know from the media Kirk got in his name, so that had to be his hospital paperwork. Now, I don't want to get too far up on the investigation, but it's important to know that those are the dates that they said those things. So go watch my Moline video, the one that I made not too long ago. It puts the scenario together as if something happened on the 14th, and then explains the whole scenario through there. Okay. Anywho's, listen to this, you guys. If you take 1914 and you subtract 1776, you get a 138. Again, Revelation 3:18, same numbers. Okay, 318. Okay, and that totals 21. Now, 1914 plus 1776 equals 3,690. EGG, egg, or 18. Okay. Let go of my ego. It's actually let go of your ego. You guys, you have to understand that what I'm saying is true. If you take 19 plus 14, you get 33. How about that? I could go on and on with these numbers because it's the way that the creator tells them to me, and because they're always moving about. They're pretty much ever changing. Anyway, this is real important too. I am the creator. I am. If you take the name and write it in capital letters, I am. write them very close. It's going to look like MAI backwards, right? I am is equivalent to Maui, MAUI. It's 808 because 808, 8 plus 8 is also 16, or 9-1 upside down, the 16 again. Now, Maui, I wrote, has been stolen from the intended purpose, filled with dole, pineapple fields, sugar cane, and being declared a U.S. state. Easy to perpetrate World War II and to turn most of Maui into a naval base for the intended purpose of practicing DNA experiments and holographics beyond your imagination. I had the luxury of staying at Wailea Beach for 2 weeks on 8/19. And then I also had that great meditation under a full moon under Orion, which is like 42,000 feet above the sea, 6 times 7, 42,000. So anyway, Maui is going to be a whole video of its own. I know a lot of people can't comprehend that. I'll have to explain it elsewhere. It's part of the paper. What you guys need to understand is when you look at the Hebrew letters, not only does Dalet, Vav, Dalet, they have symbols and shapes to them that look like sevens, but Dalet is the 4th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and Vav, the 6th letter. And so the other combination is 464, which when you add 464, you also get 808, which equals 16. You guys, it's all a breakdown of our actual king, and the way that he was contractually bound with intellectual property and so forth and so on. Also, I want you to write this down. Take 413 and add it to 314. You're going to get 7.27. Now, 7, 2, 7, 2 sevens together. I don't know. T minus 2 and counting, you guys. It's the same thing. Read my paper. Listen, 4 plus 4 equals 8, you guys. And 1, let me scratch that. It's really hard to explain from the paper. I am. It looks like 1 a.m. If you write 1 a.m. in military time, it's equal to 13. So if you write 13 equals 1 a.m., it's equivalent in Gematria to the word Islam. So there's a lot of different things going on here through the Gematria and through the mathematics, changing from Hebrew to Greek to English and so on. They've been able to contrive the numbers in such a way, and I spell it out on my paper too, you guys, you just can't see it, that the way the Gematria works, the 4 and the 3 equals 7. And then you bring down the 1, it's 187. It spells 187, which is obviously equivalent to DOA. So really, really important to know is the name that I said that we're not supposed to use. When you take the spelling of that word in Hebrew as well, it's equivalent to 16. You guys, everything that they do, they take that name and it's about breaking it down. That's why I use the song Breakdown to get our attention, because again, he knew this was going to happen, and I watched so closely that it had to be in a way that I could make heads or tails of it, and then he could tell me the rest. I explained the word opioid, you guys. You have to look at it. Also, when you add 19 and 19, you guys, you get 38, which again takes us back to Revelation 13:18. All of these things go together. 19, you can take 9 plus 10 plus 11, and it equals 21. And then, of course, with the song Money Don't Matter Tonight, it's one more card and it's 22. I've discussed the breakdown a lot of times, you guys, but it was introduced on Artificial Age, which was the 37th album, 3 times 7, the 3rd song, okay? On 119, and there we are with the 911 again, was the first time it was heard, the song Breakdown. DJ Rashida played it at the Dakota Club in Minnesota. Now, on 314, which is Pi, again, Prince went on Arsenio and announced it as his favorite song. Now, on 622 is when the moderator on the Third Eye Girl chat show said that the song was being recorded that night, 6/22/13, but no other song has ever been heard. Now, aside from the 119 and the 314, the thing that's interesting about the 622 is the other way the Gematria works. When you do the 2s as a curly 2, 622 is actually 666 in backwards mirror writing with the curly 2, okay? So when you look at all these dates and the way that the song was released, and the fact that it was released in 13 as part of the breakdown when Renville Wellington came on board, and after the Welcome to Canada tours, that's the Go phone was established in 2015, 6 days before the Obama concert. Obama, as I mentioned before, was seen carrying around an Islamic Bible many times, and Prince Rogers Nelson stated he had no dog in that race and would have never performed there. So 13 is equal to 1 a.m., which is I am. That's how they want to call themselves, the I am. You see what I'm getting at? So it's just like the song, when was it supposedly the 13, when there's no such thing as luck. Can't remember the lyrics, I know. So there's that. Now also, you guys, the fact that 2013, if you add 3 years, we get 2016, which he died in 2016. What are the last two numbers? 16. That's right. So 2013 plus 3 years is 2016. 2016 plus 6 years is 2022. So when you look at the 3 and the 6 and then the plus 6, and then you turn that last one upside down, it spells out egg again. I'm going to do it again. Write it down. 2013 plus 3 is 2016. 2016 plus 6 is 2022. Okay. The 3 and the 6 and the 6, if you flip that last 6 upside down, it's a 9. It spells egg again, or 369. It's the same thing. Again, and when you do it upside down, 1777, giving us the name David. So what's interesting too, you guys, is when you take 1777 and you subtract 1776, you only get 1. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like going back to the future. Now, also, you guys, COVID came upon us in 2020. Very important to know. COVID-19 came on us in 20. So when you take 2020, 2021, and 2022 and add them together, you get 663, which also spells egg. Okay, you guys with me? Yep. It also spells Bob George when you write it out the way I wrote it on my paper. It's very self-explanatory when you can see it for yourself. Now, also, if you take the date 4/21/2016 and you add it breaks down to 666 as well, which is broken down on the paper. I wrote, if you truly take the time to not just read, but absorb the words, the dates, the math, the pure knowledge and wisdom, it's a great gift. Absorb the fact that I wouldn't know any of this unless it was disclosed to me by our Creator. It's not from a book, research, or conspiracy. It's the realest information you'll see. This work, the sharing of knowledge, is my sole purpose. It was disclosed to me by Hashem when I had my life after life on 7/20/10. Plan didn't come to fruition until COVID lockdown, spring of 2020. All the videos that are on here, you guys can hear all about it. This knowledge, truly, you guys, is breathtaking as it is. It's like taking a teaspoon of water out of the ocean. It just is something I heard my rabbi say. Listen, if you try to explain the concept of water to a fish, he's not going to understand. He's just like in the water. But if you take the fish out of the water, then you can explain the water to him. That's what I'm trying to do by taking you guys out of the religious programming so that you can see it from the other side, because that's what was shown to me when I passed. Otherwise, I would never come here and do this to everyone's souls, because you have to remember I'm accountable. As I wrote, you are the fish and religion is the water. Christianity, Islam, Kingdom Hall, Vatican, Pope Francis, as in Francis L., Prince's father, they're all guilty, as well as the false Jewish folks, the Zionists, not all of them, but, the ones that pretend. There are pretenders in every real legion. There just is. They get high on their own power, their own ability to have money, to be really mostly powerful. We all know how the white breads love power. They just do. It gives their shriveled member hope, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they all are guilty of these manipulating tactics in order to control and subdue the masses, to keep the masses waiting on a savior, twiddling their thumbs, believing they are saved by reciting a verse and a name, the name of a man who's never mentioned in the Hebrew Torah. Now, I want you to think about this. You guys have explained it before. Purple rain is written in a suspended 2 chord. Now, if you write sus 2, S-U-S 2 in mirror writing, it reads as Jesus or Judas, which is Jew, not J-U, but J-E-W, Judas. You see the word play that they do on all this? Now, let me just mention while I'm here, even if you believe there's no body of Jesus, there's no body of Prince, they want you to believe it was cremated. There's no body. Let me stop there. It's not in my paper, but I'm just saying. People believe, it's like the belief of Christianity is so rudimentary and so grade school. It's like, I don't know why everybody's willing to believe that Adam and Eve had a bunch of kids and bit an apple, but only one dude is connected to God. And you got to go through all these other intermediaries to get to know him. It's just mind boggling. So excuse my sarcasm. Listen, the help that you're looking for is at the end of your arm. It's you, it's your DNA, your personal connection to the one who created you, just you and him, no one in between. The mediator is a lie. The need for a go-between only takes you away from the holiness of your own soul and its ability to communicate with the one who made you. So, even though I know that I stumble my way through explaining something that is written beyond even my comprehension sometimes, like I said, leave your email or go to my Facebook page and print off the Google Docs, because it's astounding, you guys, to know that the Creator put in place a plan to reveal himself to the whole world, because what's been told thus far hasn't been true. This information, it doesn't make me special. It makes him special, because I'm just a girl, and never in my life did I have this kind of information come to me, nor could I write it down in the way that I do on the papers. It's truly him. And the reason I'm harping on that, you guys, is because you can learn to love Hashem in a way that you've never been free to do. Like the world, with the way that the religion has been taught, people are like, oh, you got to pray, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. You can't get to know the Creator through fear. You just can't. You have to get to know him through love, which is why I'm the one explaining this, that righteous one. That's why he gave it to me. Like, it's a huge deal, but it's the truth. And it's because he knew I wouldn't lie, and I'm too goofy to ever try to claim something that isn't true. You know what I mean? I won't lie. And I want him to have all the glory that he's ever deserved. Think of the song Solo on the Come CD. My Name is No One. All the lyrics, you guys, still going to do that video on the lyrics. It's a necessity, because the world thinks of Prince as one thing. And, that was planned also. But once you guys grasp that the Creator is, creation is in motion. It didn't stop. It didn't start and then just stop. It's every day. It's all the time. It's creating. Okay. It doesn't just stop. So you have to realize that he's ultimately in control, and you guys have got to get to know him. And the more that you can get to know him, the easier this is going to be. The better you're going to feel about yourself, because it's just so easy to talk to him like your best friend. Even before I died, you guys, from 1993 on, I've told you before on some of the other videos, nobody ever taught me how to love God. Nobody even mentioned the word God to me. And so all the ways that I learned my way to him are the ways that I'm going to continue to love him, because it wasn't anybody, like, I don't know. It's just really hard to make you guys explain, or to make you understand that he doesn't want anything from you except for your truth and your love and your honor. You need to honor him. And the world has tried to make him unrecognizable. And I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen. And he's going to make sure it doesn't happen. But what I'm saying is, the sooner you guys can get on the boat and realize that what I'm saying is true, and start talking to him and doing your hit but a do, which is your personal prayer to your best friend. You explain to him the stuff that's wrong or right in your life. You give thanks. You don't ask for new cars and new boats and new clothes and this and that. First, seek to find out who your soul is, who you are and what you're supposed to do for him and for this world. You don't get to ask for nothing. Okay. You just don't. It doesn't work that way. That's also what always freaked me out about the way the world worked. It was like, oh, what can God do for me? And I have all these preachers out here saying, oh, and he wants you to prosper and he gave you these cars and the this and the that and the prosperity and this and that and that. Nothing wrong with having a little bit of money as long as you share it with other people and are charitable. However, that is not where he's from either. And so watching the whole world do that since 93 has made me nothing but disgusted with them. I don't work for anybody. I'm not scared of anybody. And I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Like I always say, I don't know what else I could say to let you know who I am, how the Creator is using me, and how you're going to have to be responsible. You just are. He's going to ask you, did you ever hear from my messenger, Elizabeth Pride, Big White Rabbit? And most of you are going to have to say yes. And then when you choose to say, well, we thought she was just a conspiracy theorist, or we thought she was crazy, or just a girl in love, well, you're going to have to answer, because I'm giving my soul, my whole soul, for this. And I am what I am, and I'll be who I am. And go print off the paper. It was really profound when I wrote it. It doesn't come off as profound in the video because you can't see how the words fit together, but hopefully you can hear. Also with this, you guys, what I want you to see, and I made the video about it before, is it's the reason for Recca Store or Eck Center. The Eck Center that's across the street from Paisley Park. EA is 6'9" in Gematria in math. And again, look real hard at this, okay? Because you can basically see my name, Elizabeth Pride, right in there. And you can know that I'm not playing. Pretty proud of myself, and I'm trying to do it for the Creator to just step up and be who I am. I used to be so shy about it. And again, the more I talk, the more information I get, the more I get to share with you guys, the more truth that comes out. And I know that the truth is going to change the world, and your soul is going to be enlightened and elevated, and his soul and all of our souls. And that's the only reason I'm here. So that's why I smile through the pain. So hopefully I made some sense to you guys. I'm sure I'll be kicking myself when I watch it back. But I always have lots more that I want to say. But lastly, you guys, even though I said it a trillion times already, please go to my Facebook page and print off the Google Docs. Because when you see this knowledge and you share it with your family, there's no denying what's in front of you. And if you still deny it after that, you got to start to question what's in your soul. What it is that you really want out of life. If you want to sit back and twiddle your thumbs or what you want to do or who you want to be,